We have arrived in the Separatist colony. So, you want to enter the hydrothermal wastes? Why on Europa would you do such a thing? I suppose it's none of my business. A friend of the Separatists is a friend of mine. Go ahead. The passageway to the next biome has been opened. As we enter the next area, let me talk about the Tier 3 sub we will be piloting. We'll be piloting the Kestrull, which is an attack submarine. The command room is on the top right, and drone control is right behind it. Drones start out here, but can even be docked over here if you wish. On every subsequent round, it'll still move back over here as default, even if the drone is nowhere near the sub, like if you lost it or something. Stowage compartment, that's where all the cargo is. Airlock access is where you dock. Then here's the other airlock access as well. You have one that goes this way and one that goes this way. This is our central passage. I don't know why they really call it that, because there's almost no reason to really go to the crew quarters. Here's the med bay. Here's all your junction boxes and your ballasts. Then you have your engine room, your electrical room and reactor, your engineering bay with your deconstructor, your constructor, and your oxygen tank, or whatever it's called, oxygen fabricator. Here's your gunnery compartment with 4 possible guns, a large hardpoint here, small hardpoint here, small hardpoint here, and one that if you are playing the campaign, you'll have to purchase a gun for right here. The drone itself also has a gun, which is controlled in drone control as well, which it has a navigation terminal and a periscope. It uses Wi-Fi to go to about 100 meters, 150 meters before it starts tapping out. And again, like I said, if you lost it, it's no big deal. You don't have to pay for it to be repaired or returned or anything, or even get a new drone. It just reattaches itself to your ship right here. That's the Kestrull. Let me show you what the default Kestrull looks like in an empty match where I'm just using bots. All right, welcome to the Kestrull command room. You have 3 buttons here: backup power array, which will light this button up, and then you'll start draining from your batteries. Your reactor shutdown and your launch decoy. Your decoys are installed there. You also have your discharge coils, which are here and somewhere like around here-ish. I can't see it too well in the multiplayer mode, even if I'm playing alone, single player. You don't really get to see out through walls. So yeah, it's right there. You can see it's very dark, and I generally try to light things up a bit more. Get your crew quarters, as I mentioned. Your med bay. This is your electrical area right above your ballasts. Your giant engine, because this vehicle of this size is going to need a massive engine just to push. You've got your reactor room. Your batteries. Is this even on? Apparently it is. Other airlock over here. Engineering bay. Gunnery compartment. Drone. The AI does have a little bit of trouble repairing down here if the hull, if it's damaged slightly. So they'll just sort of bounce around on the ladder like this, as of the current version of the game, where they really seem fixated on ladders. I noticed they kind of did that in the Orca 2 as well, as of the recent patch. Then, of course, the little armory, where this is the only thing that's locked. What kind of shells are these? These are just regular shells. And, of course, those are the death charges. So that's what the ship looks like as vanilla. Allow me to show you my customized version of it. Welcome to the Kestrull version Tran. Command room. Here we have our battery, and it tells us how much energy is left in it. It only lights up as long as the battery is running. So if I were to turn it off, even though it's 0%, it wouldn't be lit up. I can turn it on here or here. Now, it's at 0%. That's not a bug. I've deliberately drained it as much as possible so that I can show you. It took me a long time to come up with the configuration for this. It is empty. Let's go ahead and charge this up, and I'll time-lapse this forward, but you can actually see that it should change colors as it starts climbing up in energy. And look at that. It's at 100%. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Oh, it's going up to 101%, and it's still charging. but it doesn't. The color doesn't change past that stage. Sometimes it's not 3,200. I don't know when it changes, but every now and then it fluctuates to higher. And no one's repaired it this round because I've been docked this whole time. And maybe it's just that I've upgraded the ship, all the specs of it, at the engineer in the store. But sometimes I look at this and it does say 3,200, so it may take a minute for the upgrades to kick in. I don't know. The fuel itself used to read out of a display of 400 units, no matter what kind of rods were in it. So I've gone ahead and divided that by 4. That's what all of this nonsense is. It's to divide it by 4 and then give me a value that will read well. When I say read well is if I have a space here, and this is not going to matter to anybody but electrical engineers, if I have a space here right after fuel, and then it reads 100, then it scrolls, and I don't like the texts that scroll. When I look at the terminal or text display, I want that information right away. I don't want to wait for it to scroll through. If it's less than 100, there'll be a space, and then it'll give me the number. If it is 100, there'll be no space. That's what all this is for. Let's take a look at some of these other buttons. Fire, as you might guess, is if something's on fire, we light up. That is basically default. I haven't done anything about that because I'm only allowed 2 portable pumps. If I could install multiple portable pumps throughout the ship, I might make a button for that, but I haven't come up with anything yet other than blowing a hole throughout the side of my ship. Fuel, this is the shut off reactor button. Flood, this button will eventually, it's not finished yet because I'm trying to get more detonators so I can have my wires nicely organized, but this button links to all of these relays, which will then link to these detonators throughout the ship. Let's take a look at some of these detonators. It's been a long custom for people to make detonators with fixed foam grenades, and you push the button and so forth, but this detonator is a little bit more complicated than that. In order to be activated, it links to this AND component. This AND component must have a signal from my button, that's the relay component, and a signal from the water detector, high pressure. When these things match, so if I press the button, any room with high pressure, the fixed foam grenade will blow up. So it won't detonate every fixed foam grenade in the ship. It's just the ones that have high pressure, which implies to me that there's a hole in the room. I haven't tried it yet, so I may not have wired it correctly, but I'm waiting until I get enough detonators. I can't fabricate my own. I don't know if I've just forgotten how to play the game, but when I type in detonator here, there's nothing, right? Just detectors. So I have to go from colony to colony buying them up, and as I get more, I start spreading them throughout the ship. The next one, we have airlock. The airlock button, what it has always indicated is, did someone leave the door open? Let's just show you right here. So right now that door is open. And we can see that this airlock is emitting a light. By the way, every one of these colors reflects kind of the nature of it. So fuel is green, flood is kind of a blue like that. Before we hit this airlock button, you'll see that this door is open, and all the way down here, this door is still closed, right? All it does is it just makes the door close. It doesn't toggle them because then the closed door would open. So if I hit this button, this door is now closed, and this door is still closed. Also, what it does is it waits about 3.2 seconds because I timed it. I ran about three trials or so. It takes about 3.2 seconds for these pumps to empty out a room. So it closes both doors, and then after 3.2 seconds, it opens the secondary door. That way both pumps can work. So if there were a hole right here, right there, both pumps could just extract water from it. No biggie. So that's the command room. The drone, I did a really cool thing with this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's old hat to all electrical engineers everywhere. All right. But the way the drone works is you can undock it and then move it around on its own. I've also installed a zoom out mod. Zoom out. We can see that's the drone right there. So let's go ahead and just tell the float over here for a second. We can see it's moving as expected. All right, so it has an engine to go left and right, and it has a ballast to go up and down, right? Well, one of the things I coded in, and it took a few if-ands or whatever, is if this ship is moving, yeah, let's try moving backwards. That obviously is not going to go anywhere because I'm docked. The drone isn't doing anything. It isn't moving, trying to move backwards. Let's dock now. Oh, and just to show you a little bit more, because we can't really see too well on everything, we just have to go by the readouts. Let's try to go straight up, and we'll see that the ballast is empty. So let's try to go straight down, and we'll see the ballasts have filled up, right? So let's go ahead and dock. Alright, that vessel is now docked. So if we go up, this ballast is draining. If we go down, this ballast is filling up. What I've done is I've rigged it, and I don't know if it actually helps because I haven't tested it in the field. I just have it coded in anyways, or electrical engineered anyways, but I think it helps. I assume it would help. It started with me making a project of trying to make this fill up with water just so I could sink faster, right? And I thought, oh, maybe I can make the engine make me go faster. So right now the drone is actually trying to move forward. I don't know. I don't know. Does my engine currently make bubbles right now while I'm docked? I can't see too well. Let's check it out. So right now my engine is trying to move forward, but I'm not sure it's doing anything while docked. Let's check it out. Yes, we can see that the bubbles are spraying. That is my engine trying to move forward. Let's double check the drone. Again, I haven't personally really checked every aspect of this yet, but the drone should also be making bubbles, and it is. So the drone is effectively an extra engine and ballast tank for me right now. I've coded it to where if it's docked, my navigation terminal, the captain's terminal, controls the drone as well, but only when it's docked. Not that I've really ever sent a drone out to do anything. I haven't found a need for it. My soldiers can just go out there and take care of it themselves, but maybe there could be a use. So I think that's really cool. Let's go ahead and just settle this down. All of this is normal. This is still my timer to tell you how long I've been docked anywhere or at sea. Of course, the lighting is significantly better. I could make these white lights, but I kind of like it yellow, just to give some flavor throughout the ship, so it's not this bland sheet of white. I've moved the titles down here, and I can see the durability for everything that can be repaired above it. Fuel is seen throughout the ship because this ship is much larger than other ships I've piloted, so I can't really cover it with 3 fuel readouts, so I put 5 fuel readouts throughout the ship, just in places where it would be reasonable. And that should be all the primary changes other than me installing lights everywhere, like between the ballast tanks. And of course, automatic doors and smart ducts, both courtesy of Iswan K's blueprints. With that, let's check out the next area. We are here at Ryla. It sounds like a Cthulhu name. We are now entering the hydrothermal waste for the first time. While maybe going on side trips for beacon stations and abyssal monsters in other maps, moving forward you should just mentally gauge our campaign progression as a straight line. Let's take a look at our environment around us. That's a lot more red than the previous area. And yeah, without the zoom out mod, all of this would go unnoticed. I guess I'm going to be banned from that one person who said that he's going to prevent anybody from playing on his server. It's not that it even matters. First off, I assume that the server would have to have it installed also for a person to be able to use it. Maybe, I don't know. And secondly, when you play a multiplayer, line of sight is automatically enabled, so... Yeah, this looks much nicer. I did try the Better Lights mod, but one of the things it does is, even without AnimEuropa, it makes every diving suit have an invisible face. And also, when I made screenshots of stuff, hold on one second. Okay. Comparatively, it increases the cone of view. For example, this scooter that I'm using increases the cone of view, but it doesn't help much more beyond that. It probably isn't noticeable, but having explored almost every node in the previous regions, the Code Plains and the Aphotic Plateau and all that, it does look different. The floors, walls, and coral, they all look different. Alright, and the defense bots have been redrawn using the Better Bots mod. I've also attempted to silence the bots' sound effects because I get tired of hearing the beeping. Like, let's say that I played Barotrauma for, I don't know, we'll say 80 hours or something. I would have basically been hearing the bots beep for about 60 hours, and there's 2 of them. There, we have contact. It is a black Moloch. We can actually see the fight going on, which is cool. It's pushing me to the left. Let's sink our ship just a little bit. On purpose to get it in range of our double coil guns, which is not even firing at the other one. I guess they were just more concentrated on the black Moloch. Now we do have multiple guns on bottom, so we have this laser, this coil gun, and this coil gun. Here's another laser right here, and the double coil gun right here. Like, this is a lot more interesting to watch than staring at the sonar screen. And now I have more context of why my ship's rocking all the time, like doing the Star Trek thing. I saw that hit. So we got some Threshers up ahead. Because I pointed all my lights forward. Having this zoom out doesn't really help if the lights aren't pointing anywhere. Yeah, there's no sneaking by this group. Now, one of the things I don't like is that there's glass in this ship. This is a horrible idea. The slightest touch with anything will just send the captain probably imploding if you don't react. Or the defense bots, which like to hang around the player. They'll just start swimming out. Maybe it's to allow me to have a better idea of when I should discharge coil. But I think the captain's probably best off having a button for that and continuing to pilot the ship. Speaking of buttons, I did add a button next to the depth charges themselves, so that you can also send nukes out from the gunnery compartment. Apparently these guys are jammed between the drone. That means it's Nashvex's job, because he's piloting the drone right now. We have Nashvex up here. That way, when things inevitably break through the glass, we have a soldier ready to deal with it. Looks like Petrin is stuck down here. I'm assuming that's going to be Petrin. Yeah, they don't operate this ladder very easily, or she might be trying to repair some parts of that. Here we can see a Ballast Florist already emerging, but I can't target it until it forms a node right here. Pump out all the water. But I'm ready. And it's dead. We are approaching the first beacon station of the hydrothermic wastes. Let's see what awaits us inside. First, let's point all the guns towards it just to get some more lighting. May need a thermal, not a thermal rod, fuel rod. I wonder what it could be. I'm kind of curious if my ship will start blasting it for me. Let's find out. Is it already dead? How did it die? I didn't do anything to it. And I didn't hear any gunshots. Alright, whatever. Let's start making sure this place is wired up. We have Hammerheads and a Hammerhead Matriarch. I don't know if it's dead. Nope, it's not, because it just hit the bottom of the ship and is ejecting a bunch of Hammerheads into the ship. The AI just wouldn't finish firing at it to drive it away. They're lethally accurate with pulse lasers, but they just don't always want to fire. And that's why eventually these detonators will be wired to properly repair the ship. But I'm waiting till I get enough detonators. I was already trying to ascend. Yeah, this is a lot more satisfying for me to see than these little blips on the sonar. Of course, I really should be repairing the ship, but I'm also responsible for making sure we get a good view of what's going on. Deleted. Alright, well, let me go repair the ship now. Is this one still alive? Because I hear something buzzing. Yeah, I think it's I think it's actually still alive. It's trying to attack us. Alright, so let's pilot our shuttle. There we go. It's one of the drawbacks of the little nook in the shuttle bay. Went through the floor. Dead-Eye Carbine. We'll help ourselves with that. These outpost missions are Officer Neva's specialty, since I built her to fight inside buildings. I think that's everybody. And when edit later, we've gone ahead and looted everything. We moved down the ladders just a little fast, as you can see. Let's head on out. You're now approaching the next beacon station, and there's an achievement that says kill something with Morbicine. Oh, actually, hold on. Someone needs to unlock this cabinet. It looks like crawlers, and looks like husk crawlers. This one will not be a job for Fogaretti, since he is not a husk character. Here we have a different engineer who is a husk character. Okay, I have not even hit that one with the wrench on purpose, and we're going to stab it with a Morbicine. Ha! Poisoner, kill something with Morbicine. This is one way to eliminate targets. Alright, we started over here with our ship. Our crew is ready to leave the ruins. Let's go ahead and make them an exit. Okay. It's gone through.